fact that in reality the volume of assistance has decreased by 57%. And here we also received some curious news. On October 22nd of this year, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson and Vladimir Zelensky signed a declaration of intent, which includes the supply of modified Swedish Jas Gripen E-fighters to Ukraine. They were talking about 150 aircraft. Their cost is estimated by experts at approximately $10 billion. The preparation of this deal should take at least 3 years, and its subsequent implementation from 10 to 15 years. Vladimir Zelensky at the same time voiced his wish to receive the first batch of aircraft as early as next year. The so-called Democratic Stockholm plans to partially cover the payment for the supply by using frozen Russian assets. Such a scheme was allowed on October 23rd of this year in an interview with the SVT television channel by Swedish Defense Minister Paul Jansson. Obviously, perfectly understanding the inevitability of the collapse of the Kiev regime, the Swedish ruling elite decided to squeeze the last dividends from the Ukraine project. The West closes up Ukraine, that's how it should be called, on the eve of the parliamentary elections in this country scheduled for September 26. At the same time, they are going to make some money. And this is what the situation with the human rights is like in the West. And this is how they care about civilians, children, and others. They forgot everything. At one moment, when they saw this amount of money they could pocket. History, as is known, repeats itself. The family of Swedish military-industrial magnates, the Wallenbergs, during the Second World War did not hesitate to profit from the supply of strategic products from formerly neutral Sweden to fascist Germany. Did Sweden forgot about this? Let us remember what you were doing 80 years ago. The current generation of Wallenbergs is going to extract benefits from the Ukrainian crisis and dreams of participating in the division of sovereign Russian assets blocked by the Europeans. This is nothing but the Swedish business supporting neo-Nazism. Moreover, Sweden officially participates in funding the terrorist group and the killing of civilians. And no one will ever forget this. On October 24th of this year, another conference of the member countries of the Coalition of the Willing was held in London. Well, now everyone understands the meaning of the phrase Coalition of the Willing. Yes, exactly. These are this very regimes who became very enthusiastic and eager when they realized that they can make some money at this very point of the Zelensky regime, which is at the point of its extinction. And this deal cannot be further implemented because they are no longer going to be accountable before Zelensky, but they will be able to put the money and the funds into their pockets. These are the members of this Coalition of the Willing. So this conference took place at the top level. It was co-chaired by Britain and France. However, it was not possible to convene a full-format summit. Many participants, including one of the co-chairs of the event, French President Macron, joined remotely. The hosts of the meeting gave a demonstratively warm welcome to the regular of such gatherings. Vladimir Zelensky could not miss such an opportunity. He was received personally at Windsor Castle by King Charles III with a salute and the inspection of the guards. There was an impression that those were some leftovers from the Trump visit. Apparently, being impressed by all this, the head of the Kiev regime launched into verbiage on the topic of endless terror and ruthless strikes by Russia on the Ukrainian energy system. But there was the slip of the tongue. He also thanked the sponsors for the promises of financial support, but he forgot to mention in London where this money goes and how many children died that are allegedly cared about, due to the reason that those so-called democratic states arm Ukraine and arm Zelensky, send more and more money to Ukraine to Zelensky. They also provide political assistance. They do this rigorously without consideration to their own principles. Also, Zelensky spoke in favor of a more substantive diplomacy, which in his view would be realized through political pressure, sanctions, and the supply of long-range weapons to the AFU. I do not know where this